As most people have went through life, whenever you have negative experiences in life, one after another, after another, after another, it feels like no matter what you do, bad luck just seems to follow you everywhere. You can never catch up, you can never get to a good place. That life just keeps relentlessly and just keeps knocking you down, no matter how hard you try, no matter how differently you try to approach things, no matter how much growth that you make or how determined or motivated you are, life just keeps smacking you around and throwing you curveballs. And if you're somebody that struggled in any portion of your life, you can relate to that. Where you're just looking up at the sky like, please, somebody help me. You know, why is this all happening to me? Why can't I get my life together? Why aren't things working out for me? And when things keep piling up on top of you, bad things, the tendency for a lot of people is to become negative, pessimistic, cynical, and they just lash out. They become angry and bitter, and their hearts get filled with hate. And a lot of times people start blaming exterior circumstances, people, things, the system, whatever. It's very easy to point fingers. It's harder to accept some sort of responsibility. Now, human beings aren't perfect. We make mistakes. We make wrong choices. We don't always do the right thing. We don't always do what we should do. Yet, we allow all these external forces to dictate our internal mindset, and we have it influence who we are. Even if you're a person that's very optimistic or positive or very driven, ambitious, and over time, anybody can be grinded down by the stresses of life. And if you get grinded down enough, you start not feeling like who you are anymore. I mean, I've experienced that personally, where you have so many hardships that kind of just pile one on top of the other, on top of the other, on top of the other. And it's very easy to just turn. I think of like Breaking Bad. You got Walter White, who, high school chemistry teacher, kind of a pushover, and the guy's struggling. He has to work a second job at a car wash just to pay the bills. Pretty nice guy, but then all of a sudden develops cancer. And then what happens to Walter White? He turns to the dark side. He turns into a completely different person. He becomes evil, starts manufacturing crystal meth. And not only that, he changes completely as a person. He becomes selfish, and he starts doing evil things for money. And this is a very extreme example, but I think it highlights what can happen to a person if they get beaten and battered down long enough. that they can turn. They can become a completely different individual. And we need to be able to have some semblance of who we are, no matter what situations arise in our life, even the negative ones. It's easy to stay positive and motivated when everything's going right, when the money's coming in, when the scoreboard is in your favor, when progress is measurable and you can actually see it and good things are happening. It's easy to stay positive and motivated and happy and optimistic about the future. It's very difficult to do that when you're stuck in the mud, when you're down and out, when they're coming to kick you out of your apartment, when the bill collectors are relentlessly trying to collect, when your boss tells you, hey, sorry, but we got to let you go, or whatever it is that you struggle or go through. It's very, very difficult in those hard times to find even just a sliver of something positive or good. Because in those moments, it's very easy for us to be consumed by that darkness, the sorrow, the fear, the worry, the anxiety. And it's not to say that you shouldn't feel those things. It's perfectly normal to feel all those emotions and feelings when you're down and out, when you've been kicked to the ground so many times and you're just fed up with all the bullshit that life can throw at you. When most people just want a semblance of peace and stability in their lives. Just, it takes very little for a person to have a good life. The base level of what it is that's necessary to have a happy, sustainable, stable life. Food, water, shelter. Some people, a sense of purpose, community, family, friends. The base levels of what is needed for a human being to feel happy and stable and secure. And when you don't have those things, it's very easy to fall into depression, to fall victim to anxiety, to be just stressed out and worried and fearful. And you're not wrong to feel those negative feelings. And maybe those negative feelings can be signs of what you should be doing, of what direction you should move your life. And I understand it's difficult when things are down and out to feel motivated and positive and happy and grateful. But if you could even just find just something, some light within that darkness of whatever it is that you're going through, that maybe, just maybe, that might be enough to propel you forward. This life is uncertain. There's so many variables and things that can go wrong, that going out there can be terrifying. And that giving up is very easy to do. And you have that choice to just give up and not want to go further and just say, screw it, I'm done. But if you can push past even the harshest moments in your life, even when you're down and out, when it feels like there's no hope, if you can pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and keep going, you gain a power, a strength within yourself. A person that has been beaten down and battered so many times and can still get himself up off the ground and say, hey, I'm going to keep going, is somebody that gains strength and resilience. And if you're a resilient person, it means that you're going to push through no matter what is going on in your life. And as you develop more resistance and strength in life, when hardships come and you get those curveballs and those, life is, it's like you're in a boxing match with reality, you're going to learn how to duck and dodge, maybe even strike back, because you've been weathered so much and seasoned by the hardships of life and reality that things don't bother you as much. When trouble arises, you know how to manage it and deal with it better, rather than fall into anxious spirals of anxiety and depression and stress, because none of that is really going to help you in that situation. Now, that's not to downplay people's depression or anxiety. I get it. We've all been to those places where you feel overwhelmed, where you feel depressed. And it can be very, very difficult to lift yourself up out of the ground. But I'm telling you, you got to do something. You got to try. Because if you don't try, you're never going to get anywhere in life if you just give up and just, But if you decide to just drop your buckets and say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to live like this. I'm going to find a way, I'm going to get my life together. There's power in that. There's real power in trying to get your life together, because it's not an easy thing to do. It's not. Anything that's worthwhile in this life is never easy. Life is full of difficulties and hardships and problems. And that is just a reality that you need to accept about life. That sometimes it's going to be difficult. And if you can accept that and still keep moving forward, then you'll be surprised at what you can do. When you stop worrying, you stop being so afraid all the time, and you push yourself, even just a little bit. Even if you just push yourself just a little bit in the right direction, you do something a little bit different, with whatever it is, making small improvements day by day. If you're not somebody who's physically active and you want to get healthier, and you decide, you know what, I'm gonna go for a walk for 5 minutes. And the next day, you go walk for 7. The next you walk for 10, and you start building that habit of doing something healthy, doing something that's good for you. Whether it's eating right or exercising or studying and learning new skills, or whatever it may be, quitting something that's bad for you. Maybe rather than sit and watch TV all day, you take 15, 20 minutes and you go outside, get some sunshine, get some sunlight, or you crack open a book and you read a page or two. Small little improvements over time compound, and you can become better. Because the alternative is you can stay stuck and miserable and depressed and anxious all the time, or you can make positive changes in your life. That's all you can do in this lifetime. The alternative is way shittier. Listen, if you like this video, like, subscribe, hit that notification button. We got more videos coming up. Share this with somebody that needs to hear this message. I've been liking the direction this channel's been going in. I make these videos to give a little bit of perspective. Hopefully it helps somebody out that's going through some sort of troubles or whatever. I'm no stranger to problems or struggles in life. Listen, let's keep watching. Let's keep building and growing together, all right? Peace.